Simon did previously send me a video of him cycling at home, which you will see in the introduction. Now we're going to look at him cycling after the treatment. So I have treated him, I have corrected his pelvis, and his leg lengths are in balance. They are totally the same length. And in the beginning when we came in, we thought he had a right short leg. We've corrected that problem. He's going to cycle now and we're going to have a look at his pelvis. Let's do that. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching again. I previously made a video about leg length discrepancy, and what I want to do now is just make another video, a follow-up on that video that shows how I go about it to solve the problem. I said previously in the videos that a leg length discrepancy often has to do with the pelvis. So I'm going to take you through the steps and show you what I do to correct the pelvis, to get rid of the leg length discrepancy and to get the cyclist going without shims again. This process has to be repeated a couple of times, so it's not just once that we do it and it's fixed, but mostly and often after the first time you see a huge difference. Unfortunately, the pelvis is compensating and used to a certain stance, and you can't push that away with one treatment. But what you can do, and what you do see after the first treatment, is that it's different. So today with us we have Simon, and Simon is a cyclist. We're looking at Simon's back from behind in a standing posture. We see the right side is slightly lower than the left side, and that's not just because I drew it like that. This corner is exactly on the top of the inside of the ilium bone, right there where my nail is. On this side, exactly the same. I'm in the corner, top, inside of the ilium bone. And you can see the right side is slightly lower than the left side. We're looking at Simon's low back from behind, sitting on the bench, and you can clearly see the right side's a bit lower than the left side. So the right side's about 3 millimeters lower than the left side. So going back again to the fact that his low back slants to the right if he's on the bike, even if he stands up, and when he sits, his right side is lower than his left side. So we're looking at Simon lying on his back, and I've marked the inside of the medial malleolus over here and the inside of the medial malleolus over here. So we see that the right leg is about 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 centimeter shorter than the left leg. And what that means is the following. It seems like he has a shorter leg on the right, but it's not that simple yet. We also saw that pattern when he sat down, that the right side of his pelvis was a bit lower than the left side, and we saw the same pattern when he stood up, that the right side was a bit lower than the left side. Also, we saw in the introduction video of him riding his bike before the treatment that he slants a little bit to the right while seating, and you can only see that in the pelvic bones actually moving a little bit to the right. It's not bad, but there's a slight tilt in the pelvis to the right, and even if he stands up, his body seems to torque to the right in that direction. So I hope you can see that lying on his stomach, his legs are just about exactly the same length. So we just saw Simon lying on his back where it seemed like his right leg was short. Now he's lying on his stomach and both legs are the same length. So from that point of view, it is not easy to just put a shim under the right leg and fix that problem. Once again, I'm going to say the problem is more complicated, so we're going to have a look at that. So first of all, lying on his back, the legs are not the same length. The right leg is a bit shorter. Lying on his stomach, the legs are exactly the same length, so you can't just put a shim under the right side. So we're going to see what we can do about that. Simon lying on his stomach, the legs are the same length, If we do that, the right leg is 1.5, going for 2 centimeters shorter. That's quite a difference. You can always say the left leg is longer, but we work with a short leg as a reference, because we're looking to see if he needs shims or not. So we're speaking about a short leg. I'm going to push on his right pubic bone, exactly the bone we sit on when we cycle. And then we're going to do that. And you can see this difference in the leg lengths. The right leg is exactly the same length as the left leg. So what's happening here is the right pelvis is tilting backwards. It's doing that, which means whilst tilting backwards, and I'll put the video that I made last time about leg length discrepancy, I'll put up top here so you can see that, and then if you come back to this video you'll grasp the concept better, I believe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this pelvis which has tilted backwards. If the pelvis tilts backwards, it brings the hip up, and subsequently, because the hip is higher, it looks like that right leg is shorter. If I correct the pelvis, the legs should be the same length. So we're going to correct the pelvis on the right side. Once again, if the pelvis turns backwards or tilts backwards, the hip goes higher, and it seems like when he sits, when he stands, when he's lying on his back, it seems like the right leg is shorter. So you can't fix that problem by putting in a shim, because the primary problem is in the pelvis. So we're going to fix the pelvis. Simon, come along on the left side, please. Ik ga niet strekken. Net zo. Die ben ik gestrekt. Verhogen. Iets dichter naar mij. Je gaat niet vallen hoor. Helemaal loslaten. Diep ademen. En uit. Both legs bent. It went easy and very quickly. Because we fixed the pelvis on the right side, it's moving now. And we took the compensation away on the left side. But he has a lot of tension in his gluteus muscle. So we're going to take that away, and that should correct the problem. We lay on his stomach earlier. Both legs were the same length, and obviously they're still the same length, so that's good. We're hoping for change if we do that. And as you can see, there is still something going on there. It's not perfect. The right leg is still a little bit shorter. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the pelvis and we're going to try to figure that out. But that's not 1.5 centimeters, that's about 0.5 centimeter. So we're going to look at that. Come along your right side, Simon.
And when you lift my legs, I can feel it here.
Okay. So the right SI joint is not perfect yet. Ik ga eens strekken. Come a little bit closer. So we're gonna look. I'm gonna push the left pelvic bone towards Simon's head. So we're gonna push it up a little bit, because the left side is also a problem as it is compensating. En ademen. En uit. That was a good one. Both legs bent. This one as well. Deep breath in and out. Okay, come along your back, please. So when we started off, we've corrected the right SI joint, right pelvis, and we fixed the compensation on the left side. When we started off, the right leg was shorter. When we corrected the right SI joint, the legs were the same length, and they still are exactly the same length. So now we're going to look at him on his stomach. So, on his stomach, the legs are the same length. They were always the same length. So that's also something to consider, because when he stood, it looked like his pelvis was tilted to the right side. So if you're looking at me like that, it looked a little bit like that. When he sat, it looked like that as well. On the bike, he tends to do that. So it's very easy to put a shim on this side and fix that problem. But once again, when he's lying on his stomach, before we even started, the legs were the same length. So in principle, his legs are the same length. We just have to figure out why it seems like his pelvis is tilting to the right. Is there a short leg? Is there a pelvic problem? Is there compensation? And that's what we're doing. So now he's lying on his stomach. His legs were the same length. They still are the same length. We're going to bring him up. And if you look at that, his legs are absolutely perfect. Exactly the same length. So we have three variables at the moment. Simon lying on his stomach. The legs are the same length. They were the same length. Simon lying on his back. The right leg was short. Now they're the same length. Simon with his legs bent like this. The right leg was almost 1.5 centimeters shorter. Now it's exactly the same length. So those three variables are the ones we want to eliminate to make sure that pelvis is working well. And only now we can figure out and see if he has a short leg, really has a short leg or not. But before we do that, we're just going to mobilize the pelvis a bit more so it stays loose. Take a deep breath in, Simon, and out. Deep breath in 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 and out. Put the right leg over the left leg. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Alright. So there's Simon's back after the first treatment. Both sides totally level. Okay Simon, let's start riding. Put on the small blade and just spin the legs a little bit. It looks very stable. Okay, put it on the big blade, mate. And a bit harder. Yeah. So the most important thing here is not to just look at what it's doing now, but he has to cycle quite hard for half an hour and then we're going to look again. Okay? Iets lichter. Okay, so Simon is sweating away here. It's been 25 minutes. So we're looking at the pelvis and it's looking good. He still has a bit of rotation to the left and the right, but that's just the way he rides. We try to lower the saddle and make the saddle a bit higher, but this is just what he does. But as you see, there's no real tilt of the pelvis to the right anymore. It's looking really good. How does it feel?
Okay, yeah.
Feels okay?
Yeah.
Are you tired?
Yeah.
He's tired. So there we go, guys. I'm going to try and make more of these videos where I bring in cyclists, we have correct the pelvis, and then we have a look at how the body reacts. This process I repeat 3 or 4 times, sometimes more, but it was an enormous difference in the leg length discrepancy we saw just after one treatment. So I hope this gives you guys a better idea of what we do, and thank you very much for watching, and thanks to Simon. You can relax now. Cheers guys. Super, Simon.